Alright, it's time to talk about Veilguard. It's time to talk about this after the fact, after beating it. We're about to make our choice to have Balara get pulled through the Illuvian instead of Nev. That's where we are. I'm gonna walk back that choice so we can see what's different for a romanced Balara and Rook. And we'll go from there. And we'll talk as we go, because, man, is there a lot to talk about. Let's get through this part first, I guess.
Oh, another fade tear. Oceans of magic are coursing around us because of the god's ritual.
Then we'd better find Gillenane, quickly.
Wait! There are wards blocking the way out. Blood magic.
One touch could kill.
How do we get through? Ideas?
Patterns are familiar. If I can fracture the harmonics, we could get through. Maybe.
I deal with blood magic. I can stop the damage long enough to burn out the wards.
That's risky, Nev. Really risky. I can't ask you to do that.
Your way's just as dangerous. Don't like it, but one of us has to do it.
See, there's that I can't ask you to do that. That's kind of where we one of the things about this game and its main theme of regret, that trip we take into the Fade, where we realize that Varric is actually dead. What do we learn there? What do we learn there, really? Except that other people have agency. Like, that's literally the message that they're trying to tell us with that whole sequence. And it's such a brilliantly done sequence. It's beautiful. It's stunningly beautiful. But what is the message? The message is that Varric is dead. The emotional heart of your game doesn't have anything to do with your thematic choices. And that is... We'll expand upon that more. But that's kind of the kind of thing I want to talk about today as we go. Like, yes, other people have agency. That's a big part of being a team.
This is your territory, Balara. Just go slow.
I'll be careful.
I think it's been about a week since I finished the game. And in
I'll
that
keep
time...
this fade tear in check while you work. But with things so unpredictable...
In that
I
time,
fear
Dragon
everything
Age
might
Day
happen
has
once
come
we
and
kill
gone.
Gillenane.
Solus warned me that there'd always be costs and consequences to fighting gods.
So I've just been
But
thinking
if we
about it a
kill
lot.
Gillenane, snatch the god's dagger and escape, maybe we prove him wrong.
I dearly hope so.
And there!
Great work.
Thanks. Be careful. The gods might know we're here now.
That is a certainty.
I hate him so much. He stole my girlfriend.
The Elven are a scattered people, but fret not. I shall bring your mage gently back into our fold. You can all be forgiven by embracing the wisdom of surrender. Continue, and even the dread wolf will regret what I do to his pawn.
Come on! Elgernon and Gillenane are still on the island. If we move fast, we might get Balara back.
Damn it! Hold on, Belle!
The gods know we're coming, but they still need to finish their dagger.
Then we should split their attention.
Right. Half the team comes with me on the main path. Davrin, you and the others stay out of sight and
I'm
get
skipping
Lucanus
that
to the
scene, by
ritual.
the way. We're skipping through it. I don't feel like seeing anybody get killed again by Gillenane. It's horrific. We're skipping right through that. Like, regardless of... I thought about going back to choose Harding, like going all the way back, but I'm just like, no, I'm just gonna
almost completed the
through
dagger.
that. Like, I don't want to go that far back and spend that much more time going back.
Where's Gillenane?
On the move.
And it doesn't
Spike
matter
can
if I'm
feel
not
that.
watching it again.
I don't care what these damn gods try or what they want. We'll kill Gillenane, we'll get our friend back, and then...
Then we kill Elgernon. We'll distract Gillenane until Lucanus gets a clear shot.
Good luck, Davrin.
Like I promised. Whatever it takes.
It's all yours.
As is Gillanane.
What did I have with me last time? I'm almost thinking about dropping the difficulty just to make this go faster. We'll see.
Spot Gillanane until it's too late.
I hear dark spawn.
I see her.
Not soon enough, Great Warden.
Don't let her get her.
Catherine!
He hears you not.
She could have killed us, any one of us, at any time, I feel like.
So few of you remain. Small,
Tosh?
desperate.
So I do love
Nev?
the way they really make some of this feel like hopeless and
For your transgressions, little book,
make them feel powerful and horrific. I mean, look at her. She's amazing. But at the same time, I'm continuously asking why they didn't just kill us all. But I've also said this before, right? Don't look for plot holes in Dragon Age, especially this game. Don't do it. It's not gonna make it more fun. Unless that's fun for you. Yeah. Do you want plot holes? We got plot holes. I'm not even gonna try to go down that road today, now. Because it's not even that important in the grand scheme of things, I don't think. For me, it's okay. Look, I get it if it's like super egregious, and that's arbitrary. What does that mean? What is egregious? I get that. For me, I'm just not so concerned with plot holes. I don't know. It depends. It's arbitrary. Sorry.
Nev, are you hurt?
Only my pride. Let's end this.
Ah, we need to find Davros. Gillanane grabbed him earlier.
Regardless of plot holes, this game made me feel emotions. So it did that much. The part that I really get pissed off about, like I keep saying, I think, is that it feels thematically straight up. I actually don't remember how much I've talked about that in my videos. Has it been a lot? Has it been not at all? Oh, the main theme of this game is regret. Cool, well what are you trying to say about regret? Are you trying to say that regret is bad?
Now it's your turn.
Are you trying to say that it keeps people from doing important things? Or maybe regret can be like anger and motivate us, or... No, regret is a prison, apparently.
Davros, got you.
Thanks. But now we need Lucas.
I actually like the idea of regret being a prison. You know, metaphorically, literally. That's cool. I don't know that they executed that part too well, and that's where I'm like, I need to play the whole thing again. I need to keep certain things in mind while going through this game again. Especially about themes. I don't know, it's just frustrating, right? When you have something that has so many good parts, but ultimately it just doesn't deliver.
Lucanus, I've got you!
Behold your current age! Fragile, aimless, lost! We are the only people in this world who can cleanse and take
I love that
the
Spite just straight up enables Lucanus to fly. It's amazing.
but destroy them!
You and Elgarnon are trapped by the past, just like Solus. You had
Can
your
we talk
chance,
about
each
that
one of
too?
you.
These villains are the most one-dimensional. They are powerful
You and Thing.
and dreadful, but they just want power, and they just want to use the blight to do whatever they want to do. Alright, we can skip through this, I think. Bye, Devrin. So sorry to lose you, because you were awesome. So we stab Gillenane, and he shows up.
We had such plans. Oh, no.
She dies a very cartoony death, which is fine. Again, this game can be kind of silly, even if we're not talking about plot holes. It can be silly, and that's okay with me, arbitrarily. I don't mind that. Oh, so the blight crept up the dagger, the red lyrium, and he tried to like hide it. Is that what happened there? Because I've seen some posts from the dev saying like Elgarnon actually uses some of his magic to hide his blight, because all the elven gods would be blighted in the Veil. Gillenane would embrace it. She'd be like, heck yes. But Elgarnon, he's vain and he doesn't want to look blighted. But that was just the dagger. Why would he care about that?
The dagger! Rook! You must break its contact with Gillenane!
I guess it's just showing that maybe his magic is slipping a little.
Lucanus?
And this scene,
Lucanus!
I don't really understand certain decisions they made. Okay, and there was my very first. Oh, I'm an idiot. Varric's been dead this whole time. Right there. But then they do all this other stuff, and I forgot until.
Or did you think you'd win the day without some painful sacrifice?
And here's another, as well done as this monologue is, and this scene, I don't understand
We don't stop that dragon.
why Solus is saying those things to Rook.
No one's retreating. We'll all die. Archdemons attacking the north.
It makes sense to have Rook
Stood against the gods.
overtaken by doubt. I actually like that part of it, but doubt is different from regret.
Solus.
But mortals cannot win this battle.
And he's so fucking full of it. Like, he never stops being full of it.
It is what must be.
I saved you, Rogue. What was the point? You were never up to it.
You're worthless.
Varric never believed.
You are no leader. You failed us all.
What failure cuts your conscience now, I wonder?
See, doubt. Doubt is painful.
Is dead.
Dead and gone. It's your fault.
Your fault.
Regret, like all emotions, is a powerful thing. It can bruise us, break us, or blind us to the truth. Regret is even strong enough to serve as the lock on a prison built to hold gods. But such a prison can hold any captive. Even you.
No!
You were never ready to make the sacrifices that leadership requires.
So full of it.
I molded you into someone the prison would accept in my place.
And that makes no sense to me still, even now. Varric.
Eric?
Your work is done.
He's such a piece of shit. I'm thinking back to that line that Varric said about how Solus would burn the world down, but a single flower's blackened petals would make him weep. Varric never actually said that. That's Solus knowing himself. That's Solus being self-aware of what a piece of shit he is.
This is... This is where we talked when I was dreaming. But I'm not dreaming. There has to be some way out of here.
I'm gonna open that chest this time. So, like, Varric basically, or I'm sorry, Solus basically has like a villain speech there. Especially if I've never played this game before, I'm sitting here thinking he is a fucking piece of shit. Now, even if you absolutely love Solus, come on, we kind of love to love
statue.
complicated characters, right? I get it.
How did Solus get out of here?
We can accept that they do
swapped
bad
places with me,
things.
but there's more to it than that.
So I'm not saying like, oh, how dare they make him do that to me, or how dare he do that, whatever. But does it fucking make sense for Solus to give such a villain speech? It doesn't fucking make sense to me. Excuse me. Maybe somebody who likes to do...
Tried to mold me into something like him.
Fuck.
But I'm not him. Need to find my own way out.
Tried to mold us into something like him. Meaning what? Somebody who has doubts? Who has regrets? How on earth did anything he say to us do that? He basically... The only thing I could see is maybe he encouraged us to talk to our team, to listen to our team. So he really just wanted us to form bonds with our team. Because he would see that as a weakness. And something that we would later regret, because he knew that when you go through something like this, you experience loss. I don't know. Is that really it, though? I don't think that feels like enough
this place is taunting me.
to give a whole villain speech like that.
I need to get out of here. I can't waste time being stuck. Find out if Lucanus is... No, he was just knocked out.
I wish they would have done, because like...
He can't be dead. I have to get out.
So like, that blast from the dagger knocked Lucanus and I both back.
Come on. Solus found a way out. Now you need to find yours.
But then I got right back up. And so I assumed that Lucanus did the same, because he was off screen the whole time.
So how do I get out? Chest's open. That doesn't help me get out.
We get some runes from that. Yeah, after seeing that secret ending... Ooh, armor. Appearance. I wasn't sure that this would actually have anything to do with that. So I'm trying to make sense of why Solus gave that villain speech in that way. Again, it was wonderfully done for a villain speech. It was incredible. I don't think it matches his character People keep arguing about whether or not Solus cares about other people, period, right? It's a big part of trying to understand his character. And I think, of course, Solus cares about people. He is capable of caring for mortals, especially post-Inquisition. He just doesn't, like... he would still burn everything down for his goals. And again, it's his goals. His goals. Mythal told him in that final memory that taking down the veil would just be an act to, what did she say, soothe his own ego. She was against doing that. So for her to release him from her service at the end and suddenly he's able to want to keep the veil up, that doesn't make any fucking sense to me. And that's the kind of plot hole, I'm gonna go ahead and call that a plot hole, that I don't like to get past because it gets to the entire heart of the game and the main characters, which is the more important thing in a game like this. So I'm just irritated about all that. I know, right, Kensu? Kensu agrees with me. So he does this this fill-in speech, and how am I supposed to feel about that, either as a returning or a new player? Like, yeah, this guy's a fucking piece of shit. What else do they want me to feel about that?
Solus said this prison was built to hold gods.
Built to hold gods. And locked with regret.
Oh, did I finish that thought?
He said that, too.
Lucanus got knocked back, so I assumed, since he was off screen, he also just stood back up. So maybe they should have shown one tiny little cut to him falling down. Getting knocked out. Because then I might actually be worried. This, I'm just like, oh, it's just the Fade being bullshit, which is what the Fade does sometimes.
Rook. I thought we mattered to each other. I thought you'd watch my back.
Ouch. Oh, I love that one where she's sitting there with her legs crossed.
I'm sorry to make you sad, but I told you the enchantments were dangerous. You chose me anyway.
Nope, the big message of this whole entire stage is that our companions and other people have agency. That's the deep message we're supposed to take from this. I'm not saying that I am not missing something, okay? I'm not trying to say I know better.
You picked me to die.
That's just what it feels like right now. I like the plants here. Were these here with Nev?
No.
I think that's the same thing
You're
I said
wrong.
last time, actually, for Nev.
The woman I care about, she knew the risks. And she still volunteered. She chose as much as I did. We all believed in what we were fighting for. What we're still fighting for. And Balara knew what it might cost.
She did, kid. We all did. Because you always chose the hard truth over the easy lie. Solus, on the other hand.
Everyone's a pawn to someone like Solus. Pieces to sacrifice, without a second thought.
Davrin.
Everyone's a pawn to someone like Solus. Except, or even a romanced Inquisitor. But I actually like the idea that at the end of the game, I did watch the other endings on YouTube. How was I gonna not do that? I needed to know. But the idea that a romance to the villain actually symbolizes hope for the future for Solus, I don't mind that interpretation. I don't mind that character analysis for him. Because he is tied to Mythal from the past, and their relationship is actually so hard to define based on what we've seen. He just seems to be a dude that follows her around. Oh, he literally seems to be her lapdog. But he loved her. And she loved him in her, whatever, Mythal way, I guess. As friends, I don't know. But I think that's kind of one of the problems for Solus, though, is that he's tied to this person who is so, like, Mythal. And then there's this person that he sees clearly, and he loves them, and he understands the feeling of hope for the future there. I don't know that I see him doing that in any other universe without a romanced Inquisitor. He makes friends, and he does say that in the Inquisition, but he's still willing to burn it all down for his ideal of tearing the veil down so that we can overthrow the current status quo by violence and build something new. Now, the problem with his idea of burning down the status quo with violence is the same with every piece of media that depicts a villain wanting to do something like that. You know, he takes it way too far. That can't be a good thing. So that's kind of one of the frustrating things about this game too, is that we can't settle on what we should be doing necessarily. We can't settle on how Solus feels about. I don't know. It's confusing. I think that's just what I'm getting at. There's a lot going on, and it's not very coherent. The most important parts of the game are not very coherent to me.
Told us. And you live that every day.
I'm not sure why this version of Davern is so encouraging when that version of Balara was not. Why did they do that? Because this is the real Davern's spirit, because he actually died.
You helped me rescue the Griffins. Got him to Arlathan.
I want to sit on this ring. Oh, there's an invisible wall there. So these are all pieces of Davern's room and Balara's room? Both their rooms? I do love the music in this section, also. Also, you know what would have been really interesting if we're talking about overall themes and physical manifestations of themes? What does the lighthouse represent? Look, their pieces of their rooms are showing up with their spirits, with their words after their death. So what does the lighthouse represent? Our family, our home, our togetherness, hope? Hope for the future? The opposite of a prison of regret? So what? How do we take that one step further to mean something? It's possible I'm just not quite there yet. I'm not saying they didn't put that in here, but I may not have reached what they were getting at yet.
A lot of us, the team. But you asked even more of yourself. And after everything you've done, it was my turn to make the sacrifice. And I'd do it again.
I'll be real, I don't know for sure yet, but I think my canon is gonna have to be Harding makes a sacrifice.
I'm going to miss you, Davern. We fought together, bled together, And anytime I needed you, you were there. But now you're gone. And the fight's not over. So I promise you this. I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to stop Elgernon. And I'm going to stop Solus. I'll save the world, Davrin. And make sure your sacrifice was worth it.
Great job, kid.
God, this part still fucking hurts, man.
Now, what about mine?
And this is like, I've kind of forgotten those little hints that they just showed us about Varric, and now it's like, oh right. Fuck. Yeah, I think my canon might be Harding. I'm still not quite decided. Because, I don't know, I think I just have to say arbitrarily I like Davrin's arc more. But I think I have to play through the game again. I have to pay more attention. I loved the foundation of Davrin's arc when we were talking about being a monster hunter and, you know, not feeling at home with the Dalish and having to go out and forge our own path. We're gonna be a monster hunter, yeah! And now he's a caretaker. He yelled out that he was Hassan's dad in a battle. That's how strongly he feels about it. And he's just, again, hope for the future. Training griffins for the future, potentially? That's a huge fucking deal. Literally and symbolically, again. And we just lose him. I hate that. I don't like the idea of losing Lace either, but like... And one of the reasons why Hassan, by the way, diving in after Davrin is such a fucking gut punch. It's not that Davrin's death isn't sad. It's that Hassan is basically a child. They killed a child in this game. That's the part that is really fucked up to me. He doesn't have the agency to know the decision he's actually making. He's a fucking animal. He doesn't understand. He just knows he's going in after his daddy. That's all he knows. That's fucked up, man.
That's
where it all began.
What am I going to see there?
God, I hate this part.
I think you
I love it.
already
I hate
know.
it. I love it. I hate it. Although I kind of like knowing when you have scenes like this in a game, like, man, I know I need a good cry today. I'm gonna play through that one scene in Veilguard where we talk to dead Varric. That's what this scene is now.
Come on, Varric. We didn't come all this way just to talk to him.
He was my friend, Brooke. I gotta try to reach him.
I hate this.
And he won't listen to me. And he'll hear from me.
You know, I don't usually cry when I like watch or whatever play something the first time. It's always like the next times that I see it or play it, that's when it always gets me. The first time almost never. I'm just like, what's happening? What's going on? Trying to process. Look at what you did, you piece of shit. And all the little hints along the way, guys, I've been noticing them. Now I'm in the middle of editing my episodes. I just edited the one where I said, where someone was like, the Inquisitor wants to see you, and I was like, invite him here, I bet he wants to see Varric. I said that out loud. The part that I did not guess this remotely because I really truly thought we would have had like a whole entire memorial service for Varric, a funeral or something. It would be official somehow. There wouldn't just be his folded up jammies on his bed. Somebody would be like, and here we're gonna do a memorial for Varric. Maybe they did and Rook literally blacked it out, or Solus made us blood magic forget it. I don't know. That's the part, that's why I was never gonna guess this in a million years. Varric died and no one fucking said anything. there's hints, but no one said, God, I can't believe Eric's gone. Man, that really sucks. What?
You can't be dead, Varric. You've helped me so much. Told me what to do when I didn't know. We wouldn't have gotten this far without you.
But you did, Rook. You did all of this without me.
Because you died.
Yeah. Sorry about that, kid.
I failed you, Varric.
How do you figure?
If I'd been faster or had a different plan, a better one.
Ah, bullshit. Haven't you learned anything from this place? I made the choice to talk to him, to try to reach him, even knowing the risks, because he was my friend. My decision, my sacrifice. And you don't get to take that from me.
But
every story's got an ending. This one just came a little earlier than I'd planned.
So even him saying, haven't you learned anything from this place? I expected him to say something like to hit you over the head with the actual thematic importance of this. And what he says is, I made the choice. You don't get to take my agency away from me. So that's the lesson here. Why is that the lesson here? Other people have agency is the lesson. I don't think I'm quite getting where they want me to be, or something, I don't know.
how am I supposed to lead this team? I need you, Varric. I can't do this alone.
What do you think you've been doing all this time? You're the leader they need, Rook. And you're not alone. Time to finish this story. Your story. I just know the ending's going to be killer.
What happens now? To you?
I'll disappear. Go back to just being a memory.
Right.
Hey, don't get all misty-eyed on me, okay? I had a good run, and I don't regret a second of it.
What about Solus?
You talked to Mythal. You saw the memories.
And then the
Solus
bad music
wants to
kicks
be a
in.
hero. That's who he is, deep down. But it's easier for him to play the villain, because that means he didn't fail.
I
All
like
the
this
damage he's done,
part of
the
the
people he's
conversation.
hurt, it becomes a choice.
And I like to think that this is
Remind
actually
him who he
Varric
really
talking
is.
to us,
He might just listen.
not just Rook or Blood Magic
So how do I get out
in
of
their
here?
own head.
Listen to your team, like you always do.
They've always left it very
This
gray,
way.
whether or
Through
not
here.
spirits in the Fade that manifest as
They're
past
waiting
people,
for
you know,
you.
like to the divine.
Just
Was
take
it really her, or
one
was it
step
a
at time.
spirit that just identified with her?
Bye, Varric. And thank you.
I like to
Looking
think it's
forward
really
to seeing
Varric.
how it turns out.
He does forgive
I'd
Solus.
say good luck, but you don't need it. You already have everything you need.
There! A light!
And
We've got something.
he knows that eventually he'll be able to talk to Solus himself, maybe in the Fade or as a spirit or something. I don't know. I like to think that. I don't know that I think that that's
I am
what would actually happen, but
first of the firstborn, last of the Evanuris. Come to reign over you with fine and gentle hand.
the art in these
Citizens
is
of
so good.
Minrathous, give yourself to me. Together we shall unleash magic so glorious, so limitless.
This music isn't bad.
World
Yeah,
will
that's fine. It's
be
fine.
transformed.
So, Solus at one point, when he and Elgernon are talking to each other in that one part where Solus is trying to distract him or trying to rescue the elves or whatever, Solus says, you could stop. You could
seized control of
stop using the blade.
palace?
Just stop.
While the Magisterium was in full session, only
And
the
Elgernon's
Venatori
like,
seemed
no,
to have
why would I do
survived.
that? The blade is our tool.
How are the shadow dragons?
Doesn't even
Still
consider
fighting,
it.
last we heard. But Elgernon's blighted the city, and the Venatori have sealed the gates. No one can get in or out.
Even the city's alluvians went dark. We've got no way to contact the shadow dragons. They'd be dead already if not for Solus.
Solus?
He got to Minrathis just before the gates were sealed. He saved some civilians and killed some Venatori.
Now, everyone's following Solus, like he's the only one who can save them.
Also, people have brought up online that at the end of Trespasser, it's pretty clear that Solus is gathering agents. He's got agents out in the world doing stuff. Where are they? He's very much operating by himself now, it feels like. So even if they have already served their purpose and he's kind of cut them loose, I still think I like to headcanon that here's where they could come into play. Maybe he's got agents in Minrathis that are helping him right now. Maybe there's not very many of them, so we don't really feel their presence. He's probably had agents in other factions like the Veil Jumpers, just gathering information and watching things, so he might, at a time like this, activate them to help fight against the Blade or whatever. I think that's what I'll kind of headcanon for now.
That lying bastard's always been good at getting people to believe in him. And once he takes down Elgernon, he finishes his ritual. And whoever survived gets drowned in demons. He can't hurt Elgernon yet. That archdemon makes him invulnerable.
So Solus has to kill it first.
And once that's done, Solus goes for Elgernon with the dagger he took from us.
I forget which one I said last time.
We can't stop Elgernon and his archdemon while Solus is out there ready to stab us in the back again.
Solus is not going to be happy when he sees you've escaped from his trap.
He's got the dagger. There's no way to kill Elgernon without it.
We did attempt to create a dagger to replace the one Solus took.
Nice to look at, but it can't cut through enchantments like the real thing.
So it cannot kill Elgernon.
Looks real enough.
But it is not. We don't have the right weapon to take down our target, and we lost too much killing Gillenane. We have no idea where Bellara is or what Elgernon is doing to her.
And Davron and Asan are...
The dagger. So they made this dagger with the intent of replicating Solus's dagger to do the same thing Solus's dagger is able to do. They didn't make it with the thought of, let's make a trick dagger. They tried to make one with the thought of, let's make another. But why? That... Ugh. I think other people have said this online too. I really like the idea of the trick ending. Is not executed well. It is not executed very well. I don't remember where I saw this, but I saw someone say the trick ending should have been the hardest ending to get, not the mythal ending. The trick ending should have been the trickiest to pull off, because you are going against a trickster god. The reason that I guess it could work is Solus doesn't think much of you. He never would suspect that you would try to trick him. His hubris is too great. He's also like beaten up, bloody, barely got any juice left in him, so he's not operating at his best. But he's seen you come out of the prison at that point, and he knows he's underestimated you before. So I guess you can justify it. It's just not very believable. I wouldn't say plot holes, it's just not very believable. It's not very satisfying as it is here. So gonna have to work on those headcanons for the trick ending.
If Balara were here, she'd tell us there's still work to do. And Davern would already have Asan in the air. They're not here to finish this. But because of their sacrifice, we are. So let's do it for them. Get a message to anyone who's still out there. Tell them we're gonna stop Elgernon and we need their help to do it. Then fix up your gear and take care of any unfinished business. In the morning, we take back Minrathous.
Are you certain you're all right, Rook?
No. But I will be.
You needn't carry this burden on your own. The rest of us will send word to our allies. You must take care of yourself in the meantime. We'll speak again soon.
By accepting loss and saying goodbye to a beloved mentor, Rook returned to Thedas. So it's basically getting to the acceptance stage that Solus is unable to do. I'll keep thinking about it.
The Antom and Ravain have gone berserk. They're killing anything that moves. Be a lot worse if the Dragon King were leading them. The lords have kept them away from cities and towns so far. You saved a lot of lives when you helped me put him down.
I kind of like the implication that if we don't do the companion quests, things go a lot worse in general in the world. Not just for our companions. But, I mean, obviously I'm gonna do the fucking companion quests, you know? So like...
Elgernon lost it after you disappeared. He
getting
raged about
those
us killing
bad
Villain
endings
Brought down a
seems
huge pillar
really
of fire on the
difficult.
island.
Even though it's
Barely got
not,
it
you
in
just
time.
have to not do
A lot of
stuff.
Anton didn't. It burned so bright that we all saw purple for hours. Turned the whole island to glass. Let me know when it's time. I'm ready.
My girlfriend is missing. Console me. No one's gonna bring that up.
Goodbye, Varric. I know where to find you if I need you.
Although I'm actually kind of glad they killed him off because they fired Mary Kirby last year in the layoffs, so BioWare doesn't deserve him anymore. They don't deserve him anymore. I really wonder how much she wrote that ended up in the game. Because, I mean, that's kind of driving me crazy. I love the way Varric talked in that scene in the Fade. Mary Kirby was the main writer for Lucanus, who is my biggest problem in this game as far as companions go. And Mary Kirby was also like my favorite BioWare writer for the first 3 games. I mean, writing Varric. But Lucanus, I've got some issues with the way he's executed, some of which I've said already in other videos. I'm just so annoyed that he's like, oh my god, he's an assassin. He's a master assassin with a demon inside of him, an abomination. And his biggest personality trait is that he likes coffee. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Also, he becomes First Talon, and he doesn't have any feelings about that. Even in the Wigmaker job in the Tevinter Night story, he just kind of says he doesn't want to be First Talon. He doesn't say why he doesn't want to be First Talon. He doesn't say what he would like about being First Talon or what he wouldn't like about it. He's just like, I'm not interested. I'm an assassin, but I'm not interested in being First Talon. So I got interrupted. I got interrupted yesterday when I was doing this. Well, I think I was in the middle of complaining about Lucanus's character. Let's pick up there. I mean, I think the only thing I really want to add on is, yeah, I think it would have been a lot more interesting if Lucanus and Ilario actually had opposing ideals. It just kind of sounds like Ilario wanted power, and so he wanted to be First Talon, and Lucanus didn't, but Lucanus was favored by Katarina, and that was the conflict. Neither of them really seems to have a vision for what the Crows should be in the future. Doesn't matter. They just want the power. They just want to... Or they don't want the power. That's it. And that's probably why Ilario fell in with the Venatori. Like, he fell in with the Venatori because he wanted power. It's not that the Venatori sought him out and then made him want power. Like, that's why he would have been... It would have been so easy for him to fall in, because he wants power. I don't know. But yeah, though, they're just... That's disappointing to me. This is our champion of Kirkwall armor.
Rook, about Belle. I'm sorry. She's a spark, isn't she? Lit up even brighter with you.
Yeah, she is.
If there's a way to find her, I'll look into it. If you need anything at all, you know where to find me. I'll cover whatever you need.
That's sweet. I appreciate that.
Rook, I don't know how Solus made you forget what happened to Varric. If I'd known, I should have caught it. I'm sorry.
I'm not sure it could be caught.
Maybe, but still. Add it to my list of reasons to stop him.
See, I'm glad I put that in there. There should be a couple more little things like that from everybody.
Soman Rathis.
It's bad. Solus may have helped, but we can't trust that's benevolent. And inside, I don't even know who's made it. Alec knows how to escape when necessary, but he's loyal. He protects his streets. Viper, Tarquin, they're fighters, but Halos, Cedar? I don't know.
There's a shitload of civilians.
Whatever's happening out there, it's echoing here, in the Fade. The other day, I found wisps under my desk. They were hiding.
You're sure?
Had a strong feeling. I gave them an ink pot and some parchment with scribbled notes. It calmed them a little.
That's so sweet.
If they felt safe here, I couldn't make them leave. It's almost time. The Venatori won't rest, and neither will I. It's almost time. The Venatori...
That was nice. This is really cool. Interrupted already. Interrupted already. I don't know why it loaded me here, but okay.
It's Solus they keep talking about. You were friends?
I didn't know he was an elven god at the time. And he didn't look like someone out to destroy the world. His wardrobe choices, on the other hand, were a catastrophe all their own.
Back then, he's got drip now, though. He had drip and trespasser. Well, alright, while we're here real quick, because this is the kind of wrap-up episode, one of my complaints is that choosing the next Archon of Tevinter felt like a missable side conversation. Like, what the hell was that? Okay, that's my complaint.
Wait, do the threads take orders from you now?
Well...
Do they call you mistress?
They call me Nev. Or Gallus.
Do they have to kiss your ring? Can you have someone killed with just a look? Will you get a whole new wardrobe of silks and furs?
Where did this come from?
Maker. I wish I were a crime boss.
See, I love that. I gotta say, these characters, I can understand if some of them, or even all of them, didn't work for people, but honestly, I really like these characters. I think they did great with them. That was my one big fear coming into this. The characters were gonna feel like they did in Mass Effect Andromeda to me. Sorry, guys. I didn't ever finish Andromeda, but I didn't care for any of the characters pretty much, except like the old Krogan dude. So here's a fun little room that I think I missed on my first little jaunt through Docktown. I think you could analyze the shit out of this, right? But I think the overall picture is just supposed to allude to the executors kind of having a hand in everything. That's what that last thing on the right is. Which I think a lot of people are having an issue with with that secret ending, and I don't blame them. I think that I would have vastly preferred, rather than, oh, we've had a little hand in everything, and that's why events have been accelerating. Like, I think I just would have preferred them to be like, we've been watching this whole time, and maybe it's time to do something about it, about whatever. Because we don't know what they want. We don't know what they're trying to, we don't know anything about them, really. But honestly, I think that would be way more sinister. We've been watching. Instead of, we've done everything. Even though I know, they didn't do everything. Tiny little nudges here and there, guys. But I don't know. I guess I'm feeling a little ambivalent towards that, because I don't even know if we're going to get another Dragon Age game. Yeah, it loaded me back to before when plans align. When I just hit continue. Alright, what else do I just kind of want to wrap this up.
Of course, Chuckles put his hideout in the Fade. His favorite weird, awful, creepy place.
Solus, how can I sound like Varric? How will they not suspect me? Let me trash the Fade. In hindsight, even with...
So, I was wondering... You know what? It's okay. Don't worry about it.
Not suspicious at all.
Well, since you can make people shadow dragons, I was just wondering...
Do you want to be a shadow dragon, Belle?
Yes. Yes!
Aw. That's cute, actually. She wants to be a shadow dragon, huh? So maybe Balara goes to Minrathous after all this. So Nev Gallus, one of my favorite characters in this game, I think. Absolutely love her voice. The casting of Jessica Clarke is like an 11 out of 10 choice. Just absolutely amazing. I don't think that she would have come to life anywhere near as well without that voice. Her main quest was... there were some really good parts in it. And I really love the way they sort of begin to develop Nev's character. I love when Aelia was asking her, do you like this city as it is? Because it's imperfect. But like, I don't feel like we went very far down that road. But again, love her. I think she's awesome. Balara. I also enjoy Balara. However, her personal quest was totally nonsensical to me, really, thinking about it now. I guess I don't really mind that they brought her brother back. I don't really care about that part too much. I do love the way she talked about him in that first conversation. Like, that was really great. And then they brought him back. Okay, fine. But the whole thing about Inaris just continues to piss me off the more I think about it. It feels like it should have been a way bigger deal than it was. That should have been a main plot point. It should have been something we talked to Solus about. It should have been something that was focused on. His character design was visually flippin' awesome. Loved it. But pretty much everything else about him didn't make any fucking sense. The way that they ended up executing it. It was a huge letdown. Sorry. It just was. I almost would have preferred them just bring Syrian back himself. Like, I've been walking in the Fade, and I think I know what's best for our people, and make him the big bad. But they brought in this whole entity that should have been a way bigger deal, because historically it was, and they're so mysterious. The Forgotten Ones, like, it's in the name. We forgot what their deal was. So that was disappointing.
You see the size of Elgernon's dragon?
Kind of hard to miss.
She's pretty big.
He, the archdemon Lucicon, is a he.
Male dragons don't have wings.
Elgernon used magic to make the archdemons bigger. Maybe he added wings, too.
Ugh. And he screwed with her horns. What kind of asshole does that?
The kind we kill.
Davrin. I love Davrin. Fantastic character, really fantastic. Again, beginning to go into that character development, as I said before. He might end up being my favorite new character out of this. I don't know. I'm not sure yet. But his story is really interesting. I do wish there was a little more to him, like without Asan, you know, without leaning too hard on Asan, but there is some there, so that is really good. His personal quest was also really great, I thought. I think they kind of gave it proper gravity, the proper gravity that would go with finding out what happened to the extinction of the Griffins and the person responsible, or the people responsible, and motivations. I mean, there was some slightly nonsensical stuff in there. Again, there's like plot holes in everything. And if there's not plot holes, it's just like, well, that was a little convenient. But I liked his main quest overall, I think. Tash. I like Tash overall, again. I think the problem with Tash comes from the environment of the entire game doesn't do that many favors. The entire game is, one of the biggest problems with the whole game is tone, right? The tone is not very high fantasy. The writing is very modern. The writing is very childish at times. It's weirdly immature. The way we deal with certain things is weirdly immature. And Tosh, I guess I can't decide if they fit too well into that. Like if they made the tone, they didn't do the tone any favors. They added to the environment of like the writing is talking down to us. And I don't know that I want to like get way into that with examples, because again, right now I'm kind of trying to just wrap this up. I was going to play the ending again. I don't really want to do that. I kind of want to I want to start my second playthrough. I want to do the whole game again. And here just give, some final thoughts overall, right? So I like Tash, but there's something about the tone of the way they fit into everything else that, I don't know, they're just such a shining example of like the whole game being not very mature. The way, gosh, that argument with Tash and Emmerich that they had that got resolved in like 5 seconds. I mean, that's almost like an example. I don't know. I think that argument in particular kind of speaks to how Rook is like the HR manager for all these people, right? It's just not what it should have been. I think that one of my things with this game is it sounds like it was originally very much in that tone, that kind of more light tone. Some early feedback was, this tone is too light, you need to make it darker. And then they added in something like Demeda's Crossing, which wasn't there originally. I think I heard that somewhere. And I've seen people play through the beginning of the game and go, wow, Demeda's Crossing, that's like where it really hits you, finally. And they weren't going to even originally put that in there. But even with Demeda's Crossing, you don't construct tone by having bad things happen or good things happen. Like, bad things happening does not make horror. Tone is constructed by knowing your craft and being able to craft that tone via all the different moving parts of your medium. And in a game, there's a shitload of moving parts. I get it. It is tough. It's really tough. And you don't need something bad to happen on screen. You can have a really benign visual of what is actually happening, but then make it feel really sinister with whatever, however you want to. If you know your craft, you can make it happen. So I just think that some of these scenes were at odds with each other, and it didn't really work overall. The things that didn't feel like Dragon Age were that. Like how I was bitching about Lucanus feeling, you know, he's just a nice guy. He's a nice guy. But there's all that drama. He just got out of a horrible torturous prison for a year, but he's just a nice guy. It's like, maybe you would say, well, we don't have to get into his deep feelings about stuff. Like, maybe he doesn't want to talk about them. But this is Dragon Age. We are supposed to talk about the trauma and all that shit in Dragon Age. That's what this shit is about. It's what it's always been about. So that's why that really pissed me off, I think, at least in part. For Tosh, I will say also, again, I really loved part of their character development when they were talking about how they don't know who they are on so many different levels. I think that was really, really well done. That one scene of them where they're like, I need to be a dragon hunter or whatever, that was so good. I love that scene.
Lucanus, the dream where you're being chased by monsters?
Is it the one where you feel like you're stuck in mud, or the one where you just cannot avoid them?
It was the first one. My legs would only move at a snail's pace.
That one's not as bad as the one where I climb a wall and they're already at the top.
Hurting. What are dreams? I'm having dreams. I don't like coffee. Harding's personal quest was also a letdown for me. We're talking about lyrium and titans and huge, huge things like that. And it's like, I'm angry. I don't know. See, this is one reason why I'm excited to play the game again, to really know what to pay attention to. And see if I can just pick up on what I missed, because I know I missed stuff. Of course I did. We've already talked about Lucanus a lot. But yeah, just kind of weird how they handled her personal quest, I thought. And Emmerich is far away. I really loved Emmerich. I think I actually kind of wish that he was more abrasive than he ended up being, though. You know, he really could be this, like, kind of uptight, super uptight guy who, like, never really, maybe he could feel like he's a professor. He's been one for a long time, right? He knows everything or something. And because I just wanted a little more tension in the lighthouse, and he could have been a great character to provide that. I am not too upset that he didn't provide that. That's okay. But that's just, I think that would have been kind of interesting to have more tension that kind of centers around Emmerich. And it would have been great to have more tension in general between a lot of the characters. I really like what they did with Davrin and Lucanus. Maybe a tiny bit more that would have been good. A tiny bit more of that tension. Let it draw out a little bit longer. But I think what they did was really good. But yeah, overall the tone didn't work for me. I'm just kind of annoyed at how I feel. How do I even feel? I mean, it feels like it's almost not worth talking about. It feels like this game had been in development in some form or another for 10 years. Even if they rebooted it a couple of times, they just wanted to get something out the door, and I can hardly blame anyone for that, anyone who actually worked on the game. That they released something relatively coherent, they got good critical reviews, is a huge success for them, right? It's just when we get into those details...
Hey, Hassan.
This stuff just kind of falls apart, and that really sucks because the foundation's there. I don't know. There's too many moving parts to say, like, what should have been done differently in the actual game. In a concise way, anyway. We could talk for hours about that, probably. But I think the more important thing to talk about, like, for critical analysis of media is important, and it's fun. It is important. It's not just, oh, it's just a video game, you're overthinking it. It's just a movie, you're overthinking it. Like, no, no, no. We need to be able to look at our art, critique it, take it in, process it, feel it. This, when things like this happen, though, when products like this come out, it really, really bears talking about what went wrong and why, because it's a labor issue. And that's like a whole other video essay that I really hope other people have already done so that I can look them up and watch them and be like, oh yeah, that makes sense. I'm not gonna get into that really right now. It's just too much. I just want to know, I just want to make sure that I'm thinking about the conditions in which something gets made. You know, it's important. And all the same, I hope the devs are proud of themselves for all the issues, for all the problems. They know what they are better than we do. And I hope they're proud and have lessons learned, and I hope they're all having a good time working on Mass Effect. You know, it's a rough industry, I think, right now. Anyway, Asan is amazing. Look at him. I want to see him grown up one day. Please, BioWare.